Hey guys, Carl from Purple Moose Plays. Today I'm taking a preview look at a prototype copy of Sweetlands from designer Totsuca Chuo and publisher Uchibacoya games, coming soon to Kickstarter. This is a sort of worker placement-ish Tableau engine building, resource management, tile laying, big old chunky Euro, sort of designed to be sort of the next big, heavy, classic Euro a la things like Terra Mystica, with whole lots of bells and whistles going on. I'm a big fan of both Uchibacoya from other games that I've played of theirs, as well as the designer Totsuca Chuo, so I was really excited when I was able to take a look at this game. With all that said, let's head down to the table to see how the solo mode in this one plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. Before I begin setup, you can see already, I've already placed out a lot of the big components on the screen, just to make sure that everything fit very nicely on the screen for you so you can see everything that I'm doing in gameplay. Also, disclaimer, up front, this is a prototype copy of the game, so the components are not necessarily final quality, and there's obviously everything you see in this video is subject to change during and or after the Kickstarter campaign. With that said, let's continue with setup. First, on the screen already, you see the main board is here, with the round support board over here. I've got my own player character board, my map over here, and the sort of industry development board over here on the left. So first, to continue setup of the main board, I'm going to first begin by placing out the extra action slots that will unlock in the second and third round, and those are marked on the back here. Round 3 will go in those two spaces. And around 2, tiles will go in those two spaces, and those will get flipped over, you'll see at the beginning of the second and third round, but I'll explain that when we get into gameplay. Next, over here, the skill tiles. There are 12 different skill tiles in the game. You need to sort them by type and place the stack in each of the locations, but realistically in gameplay, I'm only ever allowed to have one of each type in my own sort of player area, so I'm going to just place out one of each skill type on the board. Next, I need to place out the tiles on the round support track over here, or round support board over here. And you'll see this is marked as 3+ and 4. So that's for players or games of players of 3+ or 4. The solo mode is essentially a 2-player game, so I'm only going to be filling in these. You'll see there are 2 types of tiles, these with the brown backs here, and these with this clock, which represents a pass action. And these 2 spaces are marked with that pass action logo or icon. So I will place 2 of those at random in those spaces and fill in the rest of those with the normal brown backed tiles. Next, to finish setting up this sort of main piece of the main board, I'm going to place the round tracker here on round 1. There are a bunch of resources and cards and so on that I'll place out in just a minute, but let me finish finishing up these boards or setting up these boards. So next we're going to focus on my character board. And this character board you can see is actually a dual layer cutout that opens up like this because there are a variety of different characters you can play with that look like this. These are all double-sided with different characters on both sides. I just finished my last play with this character, so I'm going to flip over. And for this video, I will be playing with Elsa Skier, which will be my first time ever using this character, so that should be fun. But that slots into that board, and I'll explain what all of that does in just a minute. But to continue setup, this here is my starting resources. So I've got 5 coins, 8 wheat, 7 wood, 6 ore, and 2 diamonds. And then you'll see some of these spaces here are marked with dotted lines. Those are going to be the starting locations for the pieces that track those 3 resource and money income later on in the game. In addition, I'm going to place out a bunch of different buildings in here, which I'll explain in just a minute as I do all of that. So first things first, let me start by placing out all of the buildings so I can show you what there are. So the 5 buildings that we've got are the cheese tents, the cream puff houses, the brownie buildings, the coffee shops, and the milk research labs. The cheese tents go here, the cream puff houses go here, the brownie buildings go here. The coffee shops fill in these first 3 spaces like that. You'll see on the industry track over here, the milk research labs get placed on each of these dotted squares like that. So I'm going to go ahead and fill all those in, and I'll be right back in just a sec. In addition to those normal buildings, there is also this ice cream clock tower that will get placed down here in this slot right here. And I'll explain what all of that does later. But also at the bottom of this industry track right here, I need to place out my cookie bunnies like that. And they fill in each of these spots right here along the top. Next, as I mentioned, I'm going to use squares to mark the income for each of the different resources and money, as well as cylinders to mark the circular spaces. And then coming back to the main board, I need to place one of my markers on each of the 6 tracks on the board, as well as at the start of this food track down here on the industry board there. And finally, the last one of those markers goes over here next to the round support board that I'm going to use to mark which of those round support sort of rows I pick as I play. And then finally, there are 3 point trackers in the game: regular points, industry points, and city points, and I will mark all of those at 0 up here on the track. And finishing off the industry board over here, I've got this sort of carriage and train pieces. The carriage starts at the start of that track, and the train will start off to the side for now to come in later if I do unlock that train. Other than that, I do need to fill in a bunch of different resources, and other components mostly will be off screen just due to lack of space, but I am going to show you everything, obviously. And first thing I want to show you is this incredibly large deck of cards. I'm going to split that in half roughly, and I'll shuffle them both up. They've already been shuffled before, but I'm just going to give them a little extra shuffle, and I'll set both sets of those off here to the side. Like that, to be used during gameplay. As well as these cubes that we're going to use to mark our different resources and money, white being 1, pink being 5, and blue being 10. And then off the side of the screen, I'm going to be placing these diamonds, these bridges, and then a supply of each of the 4 different land types: water, sort of forest, plains, and mountains, as well as these special terrain tiles. These are all going to have some kind of unique ability, and I'll talk more about those when I need to, and potentially also later if I do decide to place one on my map. But each of these also on the back has some ability that they will give you, or something that they give you when you use them. But I'll explain all of that when the game starts up. But for now, all of those are placed off to the side of the screen. And then finally, to finish setting up for the solo mode, I'm going to place one marker of a different color off to the side here of the round support board as well. And then there are 2 different decks, an A deck and a B deck of solo cards. You can see that these are just different backed playing cards that I've used. And I've then just sort of printed out the solo cards because I didn't get the physical solo cards in my prototype copy. And I don't remember which one's A or B, but it's not really going to matter. You're drawing one of each round, and you'll see how that works shortly. So I'm just going to give those a shuffle, and I will place those here like that. Space is pretty tight on the screen, so I'm going to do my best, but things may have to come in and off the screen as I play. But with that, we are all set up for playthrough. So now let me try and explain exactly how this game plays. So Sweetlands is going to play out over a series of 5 rounds as marked here on the game board, and during each round, we're going to go through basically 4 different phases. The first phase is just the start phase, and that just means we move the round marker to the next round. And if there are any tiles here, we will flip them over, making them available for the rest of the game. These are just going to be additional action spaces like these ones that are printed here that will then be activated for the rest of the game, starting later on in the gameplay. But in the first round, we skip this phase because we're already starting at round 1. The second phase is the income phase, and already I realize I've made a mistake because I didn't take my starting resources. I should start with 5 coins, so I'll take one of these purple cubes. 8 wheat means 5, 6, 7, and 8, like that. 7 wood, 5, 6, 7, and then 6 of this ore, And finally, 2 diamonds, which I will bring in from off screen and leave right there. Now, in the income phase, we're first going to start with the round support board, which means during setup, I should have also selected which of these I was going to choose, but I wanted to set everything up so that you could see how this works. All of these things, except for these 2, are going to give me something during the income phase. So this will allow me to build 1 bridge. This will get me 3 resources of any type. This will let me place out 1 landscape tile. These are going to be sort of income increases. So this is wood and this is wheat, means I would increase my income in that resource by 1. Anytime you see something in a square like that, that means increasing your income in that resource. This is 1 space on this industry track right here. That milk jug with an arrow always means to move forward once on this track. Now, at the current moment, I can only move my carriage forward when I trigger one of those. But later on, you'll see here on this space, there is a train icon, which means once I reach that level or that space, the train will then be added to the track. And anytime I advance on this track, I can choose to advance either of those 2 things. And you'll see how this works later on in gameplay. But any of these orange spaces will be triggered when the carriage lands on it, and any of these green spaces will be triggered when the train lands on it. But for right now, I don't have that train. Here I just get 6 coins, and here I would get to draw 1 additional card from the deck. So looking at the start of the game, I wouldn't mind starting with a little bit of extra income. And I'm not really all that excited about industry track, I think. Especially, you'll see in a minute, I need lots of land on the map for her. So I'm going to start there. So I'm going to place my round support token on that one. The AI's round support token doesn't get placed until the end of the first round, and you'll see that shortly. But what that means is right now during the income phase, I get to increase my wood income by 1, and I get to place out 1 tile on the map. So starting here, I will explain how that works. Down here are your sort of starting locations on the map, and from there you need to expand around. So anytime I place a tile, it has to either be adjacent to one of these 2 spaces or adjacent to a tile that I've already placed out. And anytime I place out a tile on a space that has an icon on it, I will trigger whatever that action or ability is. You'll see here and here in these ports, there's a lightning bolt with a card draw. That means as soon as I have all of the spaces adjacent to that filled, I will instantly draw a card, and also since this is in a square, I will draw an additional card every round. You'll see when I draw my normal card hand. Finally, you'll see that there are these port locations. By the end of the game, I want to have connected to as many of those for final scoring, but I'll explain that again in a minute. Now, I said that normally you need to place landscape tiles adjacent to other places you've already placed out. Except every character in this game has some kind of unique ability, and my character, half of her unique ability is actually the ability to place tiles anywhere that I want to. But right now, there's no reason to go flying away, so I'm going to start by placing out one of these peach-colored tiles, and whenever they're placed out, they're always placed with this landscape face up. You'll see later we can build bridges. As soon as there's a bridge adjacent to this, I will flip the tile over, and then I will trigger whatever it shows on the back. In this case, either increasing my wheat income or moving up on one of the peach-colored tracks. But for right now, that just gets placed there, and we continue with our income phase. The next thing we're going to do is look at our character board. If there's any kind of special thing that character's unique ability gifts them during the income phase. For Elsa Skier, there is not, so I'm going to come over to the income track. So for money here, I've got 10 and 3, so I get 13 money. So that's a 10, and 3 is 13. Next, wheat here is 0 and 1, so I'm simply getting 1 wheat. Again, same thing for wood is 1. And I don't have any of that ore income yet. So that's that. And then finally, drawing cards. Generally, you'll be drawing 5 cards per round, 6 or 7 if you've unlocked the additional card draws. But in the first round of the game, you do draw 6 cards. And just to make sure I have some things mixed up nicely, I'll take 3 from each of these 2 decks. like that. And I will show you what these cards do and what these hand of cards are for in just a minute. But already I realized I forgot something. At the start of every income phase, I should have actually turned over one of these, but realistically, it doesn't interact with any of the income stuff you do, so it doesn't hurt to do it at the end of the income phase. So I'm going to flip these over, and you'll see that each of these cards is going to show me locations on the board that I'm going to place an action token. So here I'm going to place one on the gem space or diamond space, and one on the card draw space. And then looking at this, which I just realized is upside down, I'm going to instead place one on this cookie rabbit space and one here on the building bridges space. So that means here and here, and then rabbits and bridges like that. And that is then the end of the income phase. And we move into the action phase, which is the core of the gameplay. During the action phase, we have three options. Now, the AI in this game is here only to block those spaces like you just saw, and eventually to start blocking spaces on this track as well, but that'll happen at the end of the round. Otherwise, the AI does nothing in this game. Means, during the action phase, you normally take turns with the player that you're playing with, but in the solo mode, there is no other player. So I'm simply going to take all of the actions I can until I decide that I'm done taking actions, at which point I will pass. So let's talk about the actions. There are three different types of actions I can do. I can use a space here, like a worker placement space, placing something there and taking the action, which I will explain in more detail in just a second. I can choose to play one of my cards by paying the cost at the top of the card and activating whatever happens here. And then I can slide this under my board if I choose to pay for it and I wish to do so. This card in particular I can't do, but hold off on that. I will be back in just a second. And the third thing that I can do is if I have any of these three tiles with this flip symbol on it, I can flip that tile in order to activate whatever its ability is. So again, on my turn, I can choose to activate a space, play a card, or flip a tile if I have one to flip. So let's go through those first two things in more detail. The flip thing should be pretty self-explanatory and will be clearer after I get to a point when that's actually happening. But for right now, let's focus on the action spaces. The way that this works is, I don't have any workers. The workers are a shared pool of workers. In order to place on a space, I need to spend a card from my hand to the discard pile to get a worker from here to place onto a space. Except that, that's only true for the leftmost space at any of these locations. If I'd like to place in the middle space or the second space, I need to discard 2 cards. And if I'd like to place in the third space, I need to discard 3 cards. There's one way to break that, and that is, if I place an action piece on that space that shows the action piece, I get to take one of these into my hand. And anything I have in my hand, I can place anywhere without spending a card. So basically, by spending a card to go there, I can get one that goes on a 2 or a 3 later on without having to need to pay the extra cards. But what about the rest of the spaces? Let's start with these 3 here because they're simple. This one simply gives me 1 diamond. This one lets me draw 2 cards. So effectively, I'm discarding a card and drawing 2. And this one lets me take 6 coins. Everything else requires me to pay something to do something. Let me skip this one for a minute because that focuses on the tracks, and that's where things get a little bit more difficult to explain. Here, I can pay 6 wheat to take 3 of any tile to place out on my map. Remembering, as I explained before, that would normally mean I'd have to connect to either these starting locations or tiles that I've already placed, but because of my special ability, I can place anywhere I'd like to. Here, for 4 wheat, I can move up 2 spaces on this food track. And anytime I land in a space that has something printed at the bottom of it, I will then instantly activate that thing. At the bottom here, I can spend 4 wheat to place a cookie rabbit. And a cookie rabbit, I'll have to explain again later because a cookie rabbit can only be placed on a location that has a building placed on it already. But the reason I wanted to talk about this first is because while I'm talking about the food track, you'll notice that the cookie rabbits are sitting above the food track, or in this case, to the screen to the left of the food track. What that means is I can only place a cookie rabbit onto my map if my token has moved to that space or further on the food track. So if I had gotten to this location, I could place those 4 rabbits only. And while I'm here, I might as well point out some of the other things here. This will let me place a bridge and 1 tile. This star is going to be required to unlock my secondary ability for my character. But also after the first star, if I get any additional stars, I will be able to select one of these skill tiles over here. And then finally, this one gives me 2 land tiles of any type, but these 2 right here, from that point, after I've landed there or passed there, I'm going to get a 1 wood or 2 wood or total 3 wood discount on our buildings. When we build, I will spend less resources to do so. Then coming back to the actions here, 6 wood will let me place 3 bridges. And the way that bridges work is, again, they need to start on one of the sort of vertices of the starting locations and or connect to previous bridges. So if I place that there, I'm connected to here. And then any tile that's adjacent to that bridge or later on gets placed adjacent to that bridge will instantly flip over. And again, I will activate whatever is shown on the back of that tile. And in the case of peach, again, that would be either increasing my wheat income or moving up on either of the 2 peach tracks. And the reason we want to flip those tiles, aside from getting that little bonus on the back of the tile, is that also the next action here is I can spend the resources as printed on the board. For example, this row here costs 2 wood and 3 ore to place out a building on a location. But that location has to be either one of these starting locations that are already printed or a tile that's been flipped. If it's not flipped, I can't build a building on that tile. And why are we building buildings? For a variety of different reasons. First, many of the buildings will trigger something as printed when that building gets placed out. Also, when we place the building on the tile, we will a second time, one more time, trigger whatever shows on that tile where we're placing the building. But then again, at the end of every round, I'm going to look at all the buildings on my map. And for every cluster of 3 or more different types of buildings, I'm going to get points related to that total number. So if I had 2 of those clusters, I would get 2 city points, moving my city point marker up at the end of the round. And at the end of the game, those city points are going to be worth 2 regular points each, unless, of course, I unlock these top buildings, which each will give us different additional scoring. So if I build all of my pudding houses, I would get an additional 1 point per city point at the end of the game. So that's buildings, although things will get a little bit more tricky or a little bit more complicated as we go, but I think that's good for right now. Next, 3 ore will get me 2 movement up on this industry track. And I already mentioned before that the carriage will trigger the orange spaces, the train will trigger the green spaces, but in addition to that, you can see here 1 milk point, 1 milk point, somewhere in the middle here. Here is 2 milk points, and then down here all the way at the end is another 2. At the end of the round, I'm going to see how many of those I've passed already, add up those points, and those will become industry points at the end of the round. And the industry points you'll see in just a minute will score based on how far you moved up on this track. But I'll talk about those tracks again in just a minute. Then finally, the last location that's showing for us currently is 8 wheat and 8 wood to place 3 tiles and 3 bridges. So it's basically combining these 2 actions into a single action, making them both slightly more expensive. Rather than 6, it becomes 8. But again, you waste 1 less card and 1 less action to get it done. So that's all the actions we have available to us except for this one, which allows me to spend 2 diamonds to move up any of the tracks. Anytime I see this heart with a crown on top, it means advancing on these tracks over here. Some of them, as you see on these skill tiles, will be specifically green, peach, or this sort of gray-blue color, which means I have to move up on that color. But some will be a rainbow like the one you see here, which means I can move up on any of these tracks. And what these tracks do is these tracks are going to determine how much or how many points I'm getting depending on the different things or based on the different things I've collected or done in game. And you'll see that however far you've advanced this, looking above it is the point value you will score for that particular thing. So here we're scoring one point for 3 land tiles, 1 point for 2 land tiles, or 1 point per land tile. Here is scoring on cookie rabbits, 4, 5, or 7. Here is scoring for bridges, 1 for 3, 1 for 2, or 1 for 1. Here is scoring for buildings, 1 for 2, 1 for 1, or 2 for 1. Here is scoring on cards that are tucked under the board, which I'll talk about in just a minute, 2 for 1, 3 for 1, or 4 for 1. And finally, this one is scoring based on the number of industry points you have at the end of the game, 1 for 2, 1 for 1, or 2 for 1. You'll also notice here at the end there's a crystal or a diamond, which means in order to move into the final location of any of these tracks, I will need to spend 1 diamond from my supply. Also on this track, and this track, you'll notice a variety of different things printed on the track. Whenever I land on that spot, I will get whatever it shows. So income in those things, up on a food track, 1 city point, up on the industry track, card draws, or 3 resources of my choice. And at the end, we'll get something special after we've paid the diamond to get to that last spot. So that is always an option too, is playing cards in order to activate the actions on the board, but we can also then take a look at the cards themselves because we can actually just play a card as a card on our turn as well. Again, by paying the cost here, activating whatever it shows there. You'll see that the cards also have some kind of food printed on them as well. And what that is for some of the cards, let's see if I have any. Yeah, here, for example, if I have one of these, which looks to me maybe curry, I don't know for sure, one of those means I would instantly place 1 bridge. So I have to have had that on a card, which I would if I played this one first, when I played this card. You'll see sometimes that the card itself has the thing, and for any cost in here, the card itself counts. But for any cost up here, any icon up here that's related to the cost of the card, you need to have already played that before you played this card. So this cake would not count for this card. And what this is doing is it's giving you a discount of 1 for this card for each of those cakes that you have in your played card area. In addition, any card that's marked with a color here, not white, and not these special pink cards, which I'll talk about in just a minute, will also be able to be tucked under your board. And what that means is you can tuck the card into the location as shown. So here is the green one, here is the peach one, here is the gray one, and some of them will be wild and let you tuck anywhere. And what that means is you're going to tuck it like that so you can still see the food that you've unlocked, but also anytime you activate that icon in any action in the game, you'll trigger all of the things that are showing in that column under your player board. And you'll see how that works as I get into gameplay. Sorry, I put the cards away, but there is that one other card. This is a pass card, and this card's not going to do anything when I play it. I have to pay the cost as normal to play the card. But anything in the game that has this sort of clock action or clock icon on it, at the end of a round in the pass phase, after I've done all of my actions and passed for the round, I will trigger anything anywhere out there that I have access to that shows that icon. So this says at the end of every round, for every 2 buildings that I have on my map, I would score 1 point. Again, the last thing I can do is flip those tiles to get their respective ability, but that's pretty self-explanatory. I'd get a diamond, 8 coins, or 1 of each resource plus 1 resource of my liking. You'll see these 3 tiles down here are also pass related. 1, 2, 3, or 4. This should actually say 2, 4, 6, and 8. It's updated in the rule book. That says if I have industry points that round of 2, 4, 6, or 8, I will score 3, 5, 7, or 10 points during the pass phase. This one says if I've moved up to space 3, 6, or 9 on the food track, I would score 3, 5, or 7 at the end of the round. And this one says if I have a full row of 1 of each color card tucked, I would score 6, 2 full rows is 12, and 3 full rows is 24. These 3 tiles here with this infinity symbol mean that anytime I do the action on the tile, I will score those points. So here, anytime I activate tucked cards, I'd get 3 points. Here, anytime I place a cookie bunny, I will get 3 points. And here, anytime I build a building, I would get 2 points. So that's basically all that happens in the action phase, except that you will see very quickly that resources get very tight in this game. So there are a variety of free actions we can also take as I'm doing those things. I can always spend a card and 3 resources to take one land tile or 1 bridge. I can always spend 15 coins to take another card, 4 coins to take any resource of my choice, 1 resource to take 1 coin, 3 resources of any type to get 1 resource of any type. And then I can always spend either one of these action tokens that I've gotten to hand from that space or a card to get 2 resources of my choice. And these can be done as many times as I want to in any sort of order or any time during my turn to help me pay for things that I will be doing. Then again, after I'm done taking my actions, we go into the pass phase. The pass phase, I'm going to check the city points as I mentioned before. I'm going to check the industry points as I mentioned before. I'm going to check any pass abilities from cards or from tiles that I've taken, and also then pass abilities from this track over here if I've chosen that row for the round. After doing so, I will move this to a different location, and what's going to happen is the AI will then take the location where I was. So I can never go to the same row 2 turns or 2 rounds in a row. After the pass phase or pass part of the action phase, we move into the cleanup phase. All of the discs will come off of the board, and I will discard down to 1 card. And this is going to be super important. I am never allowed to spend all of the cards in my hand. I must finish every round with at least 1 card, but if I finish with more than 1 card, I then have to discard down to 1 card. So I might as well spend everything, even if it's just for extra resources, but I must finish each round with 1 card until the 5th round. At the very end of the game, I'm allowed to spend all of my cards. So I'm always sort of carrying 1 card over into the next round, so it helps with some of the sort of forward planning moving ahead. So that's basically it. I know that was a whole lot, but let's go ahead and get into gameplay, take my first action phase, and hopefully that helps explain a lot more about how this game works as you see it in action, because there are some icons that you haven't really seen yet or interacted with yet, but let's go ahead and get into gameplay. And already I realize there's one more thing I need to talk about before we get in, and that is my character. I already mentioned that my character has the ability that I can place tiles out on the map anywhere I'd like to. She also has a special ability that during the pass phase, as I mentioned before, I get to take 1 land tile for free and place it out. Then let's talk about this ice cream clock tower building. Each character has a unique thing that needs to be accomplished in order to unlock that building, and as soon as it is, you can place this building on any available space whenever you'd like to. For Elsa Skier, I need to have 9 tiles or more on my map. I need to have played at least 5 cards, and I need to have built at least 4 buildings. Plus, I need to unlock one of those stars, which can come from the food track here, can come from my sort of brownie buildings over here, or can come from the industry track all the way up here. So let's see how that goes. But if I'm focusing on this gray star, then that's also focusing on gray tracks, means I'm focusing on tucking cards and the industry board, which is something I've never really all that focused on before. Or I can focus on sort of this track here, the food track, trying to also place out lots of bunnies, which tends to be a good thing. And if she has to place out lots of land, I could get lots of milks that way. But if I have lots of land, then potentially I have lots of places for buildings, which means potentially I have lots of places for bunnies. So I could focus on peach instead. And she doesn't have any sort of color focus. But anyway, the point is, once I've placed out that ice cream clock tower on the board somewhere, I unlock an additional ability. And hers says at the end of every pass phase, when this has already been placed out on the board, I'm going to score 2 points for each of these ports that I've connected, which is important to talk about because at the end of the game, if I haven't connected any ports, I lose 40 points. If I've only connected 1, I lose 20 points. If I've only connected 2, I lose 10 points. If I've connected 3, I lose 5 points. And if I've connected all 4 of these back to here, I will score 10 points. So I really need my best to connect those anyway, and she's going to push me to do that. So let's focus then, on filling this up and placing lots of buildings, and then we'll see whether we end up in bunnies or milk, depending on the cards that I get coming out. All right, so taking a look at the cards in my hand, I've got the bonus that scores for buildings, which could be nice later on. 3 ores gets a building for free, plus a bridge if I have any of those. This one says if I have at least 2 income in ore, I can get ore. So for every 2 I get ore because that's got an infinity symbol there. Here, if I spend 2, means lose 2 income in wheat, I can get 3 bridges. Here I just get 2 wheat, an ore, and a land tile. And then here, once I've placed this down, if I have 6 flipped peach things, I get 2 wheat and a rock, or an ore. So this could be potentially good for me later on in the game if I've started placing out lots of peach. And here also, 2 income in wheat, potentially 1 income in wheat continuing every time I trigger that. That might be the place to start. So we're going to actually do that to start. So I will spend 5 coins and 1 diamond because I'm going to tuck that. And that means instantly I get 2 income in wheat, like that. And then because I spent the diamond, I will tuck that under my board. So now I have 1 strawberry shortcake icon, and also whenever I trigger the peach track, I will get additional wheat income. So with wheat income, that means already that I'm focused on sort of food and bunnies and potentially placing lots of land, which I need to do anyway. Now the question is, do I want to try and get buildings out now with my wood? Because buildings are always basically taking wood and ore. Moving up industry is taking ore, and this stuff means placing land, moving food, and placing bunnies is taking wheat. So I could right now for a single action do that to place out 3 land and 3 bridges, but that's more expensive resource-wise, spending less cards. I think at this point I'd rather spend more cards to try and expand out. But what am I building for wood? I need to get some buildings out on the board to start potentially getting city points and so on. I've got 6 ore, so I could potentially build 2 buildings, but I don't have anywhere to put them until I've done roads and that. So I need more wood. I've got 5 cards left. I can only spend 4 of them. This one might be worth having later. This one might be nice to have when I've got buildings. So I'm going to set those 2 aside for right now. One of them I will use. One of them I'll carry over to the next round. So these 3 for sure I can use. So if I do 1 there and 1 there, the problem is I'd have to go there and then there, but that doesn't change anything. 1 there and 1 there, and 1 there. That works. And then I could spend 1 to get 2 more wood to have the wood, because if I only spend 6, I've already got 2. I could have 2 more and build some other stuff. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I'm going to spend 1 card to place there, taking 3 lands. And I want to rush towards getting extra cards, because remember, extra cards means extra actions or extra resources or what have you. So I'm going to actually start by placing 3 tiles on the board right away. I mean 3 peach tiles. So 1 goes there. 1 goes here, which instantly gets me a bridge, which I'll just sit down. Oh, you can't see that. Set off to the side here for right now. Then the 3rd one I'm going to place there. Then I get to place a single road, which I will place going that way, which instantly flips this one and can either get me a wheat income or moving up on a pink track. I'm going to start moving up on a pink track, because if I can get to that one, I'll get a wheat anyway. So let's do that for now. Then, I need to spend 6 wheat to do that. Then, spending another card. The problem is I need to start getting income in stone or ore. That's not really going to happen anytime soon. It could by building here. All right, so then we're spending that to place here, which gets me an action token, but I'm instantly going to use that action token for free to trigger that wood. So I spend 6 wood, and I get to place 3 more bridges out. So I'm just going to extend along that coastline again, going 1, 2, 3, and now this one is adjacent to bridges as well, so that will flip, or roads as well. So that flips. and then I get another wheat or another peach track. So I might as well push the peach track because that'll give me a wheat anyway. And peach is focused on scoring on land tiles and on bunnies, so that's going to be good for us moving forward. Now, if I could find a way to get 2 more land tiles here and here before my next income phase, and I think I can, that's going to work out for me. So I'm going to discard a card for 2 wood. So placing 2 more into wood, and then I'm going to discard my last allowable card. Hold on, before I do that, do I want that? Or do I want, yeah, I think I'd rather have the points for later because I should have lots of buildings coming. All right, so then I'm going to discard that to place my last action here to build. So first 2 wood and 3 ore, getting 2 back. Lets me place any of these 3 or any of these bottom 3 for that same cost. And I think I am going to place out, yeah, I need to prioritize peach and orange, or peach and green locations. So it doesn't matter which of those I place first, so I will place, or does it? Yeah, I want the income. So I will place this one out here, which instantly triggers peach or wheat again. And I'm going to, wheat is important to start getting those. Yeah, let me start that early. We'll go up 1 more on wheat. And then again, I'm spending 2 wood and 3 ore 1 more time to place out another building. Now the question is, do I place this out to instantly trigger that plus that? Which would be nice, but I'm not going to. I'm going to place this out because it gets me a wheat income and an ore income. So that goes to 6, that goes to 1, and now I could place this here for peach, or you'll see here that this says any income or any track. So if I place that there instead, I can move up on a different track. And since I'm going to want bridges, I better increase my wood. So that's to a 2. And that is that. I do have to save 1 card moving on, so that's the end of that. We move into pass phase. Check for cities. I don't have any groupings of 3 or more different buildings, just 2, so nothing there. I haven't passed any of the point values on the industry track yet, so nothing there. Hold on. I forgot to place the tile from that peach, and I'm going to place out a water. And you'll see why in a minute, but I'm just going to place that water right here, which first does connect me to that port. But then coming back to the pass phase, I haven't played any pass cards, but I do have a pass ability on my board that lets me place 1 tile. So I'm going to place another water right here, which gets me 5 coins, like that. But then also gets me an instant card draw, and then will give me additional card draw every round. So that's great. Then clean up. All of these come off the board like that. If I'd flipped any tiles, they'd unflip, but I didn't. I'm going to just put these cards off to the side of the board because they don't need to be there anymore. And we move back to the start of the second round. So again, start phase, this moves over, these flip over. So we've got 2 new action spots. This is the same as the build, but this only allows me to build 2 buildings. Now I could build 3 buildings, but they each cost 1 more wood if I do it. This one is the same as this. Rather than spending 4 for 2, I can spend 7 wheat to move up 3 times on the food track. But before I did that, I should have remembered at the end of the game, the end of the pass phase, I need to move this to a different location. Now, I don't really care about industry, but more wheat income is not bad to have. 6 coins and cards is good, but that's always good. These 2 here are pass abilities. This one's going to score me 1 point per value of my lowest income track, which right now is just a 1 because my ore is 1. That's not great, even if it does give me a free bridge. This one is going to score me 1 point for the least, for the number of tiles of the least common color on my board. So right now I have 4 peach and 2 blue, so I would score 2 points off of that. Those are probably better off played later game. So let me do this just to get the wheat. That goes there. blocking me. I get 1 wheat income before we trigger income, and the carriage moves forward once on industry. So now back to sorry, starting the round. That was the start of the income phase. Continuing that, nothing special from my character board, but yes, over here, I get 13 more coins. And I didn't spend a whole lot of money the first round. So that might be nice to buy some special cards or to be able to change into other resources. I get 7 wheat, which is nice to have, because I do need to start driving up this food track. Then I get 2 wood and I get 1 ore, like that. And then we're going to draw 6 cards. It should be 5, but I surrounded that, so I get a 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yuck, lots of gray. Let's take a look at the cards I've got. I still have that card from last time where I could, on a pass phase, get a point for every 2 buildings, which is 1 point right now. Then, looking at my cards, 17 gets me, spend 4 wood to get a green tile and 2 bridges, and for every strawberry, I get 1 more green tile. 10 coins to get 2 stone income and 1 wood income. That's not bad, actually. And every 4 buildings gets me 2 wood income if I trigger that. Potentially, I'm going to hold on to that. Here, 1 diamond gets me this sort of bun. Sorry, no. 1 diamond says for every one of those buns I have, I get a bridge. And this triggers a bridge on that. 25 coins for every, no, for 1 diamond I spend, I get industry movement equal to the number of those, and later on more industry movement. I don't care, and that's really expensive. For 12, I get a diamond and 2 ore. That's not bad, but then also, for every 5 gray flipped tiles, I would get, not for every, if I have 5, I'd get 1 ore and 1 diamond. Here, for 10 coins, I get a wheat, a wood, a tile, and for every combo of cake and whatever that thing is, I get 1 extra tile. Not every, sorry, just 1, there's no infinite. And that gets me extra tiles when I trigger. That could be nice to have for me. 6 coins, I spend a diamond and 2 cards from my hand to draw 5 cards, but that's really expensive for diamonds. All right, so these are definitely trashable or spendable cards. This one I potentially still want. That one I definitely want. And this one could potentially be nice. But there's one more thing I didn't mention. As far as tucking cards goes, I can only have 1 card of each color tucked unless I unlock the ability to do more. So you'll see here a 2 and a 3. After I've built the second building in a column, I can tuck 2 cards in that color. And after I've built the 4th building, this one, in a column, I can then tuck 3 cards of that color. And after I unlock the final building of that, I get extra scoring on bunnies, cities, or industry points at the end of the game. But before we do anything, the AI needs to block some spaces. They're going diamond and action token this time. And here, they're going land spaces and industry, which I don't care about. That's a bummer. But that's okay for right now. Then, I want to build some more. I want some more roads, but I don't have a whole lot of stuff to do stuff. All right, let's do some things. It's a bit of a waste of a diamond early, but I like this card a lot. I'm spending $10 or 10 coins to get 2 income in ore and 1 income in wood. And I am going to tuck that. I don't know if that's smart or not because I don't know how often I'll trigger gray track, but it's worth it. And potentially I could use it later to score on sets of tucked cards. And remember, I need to use at least 5 cards to unlock this building. And 9 locations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 3 more locations, I need 2 more buildings, and I need 3 more cards played to get that. And a star. But the star is a little bit easier. Now, I don't think I'm doing anything crazy with wheat this time, except maybe spending it to get other stuff to build. Building might be important this time. But let's do this. Two things. Number one, I'm going to spend a card that I don't want to play here because that gets me 2 more cards that could either be really good or just gets me an additional 1 card for extra resource or extra action. Here for 16 coins, I can get 1 of every tile. That could be huge right now. Here for 10 coins, I could get a coin income and a diamond, which could be really nice as well. But actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend this 16 card. Let me keep these cards separate for a minute. I'm going to spend 16, and I hope this doesn't bite me later, to play that card. And I don't know where it can go on screen that you still see it, but I'll just leave it here for now until I start tucking things. And that gets me 1 of each of the 4 main tile types. And remember, I can place wherever I want to. So, I can, for example, I could be crazy right now. I don't know that I want to. Hold on. But I could, for example, place there to trigger peach, which instantly raises my wheat by 1 and lets me place 1 more tile of something. And then I could say, for example, place there to take, it seems like a weird thing to do right now, but I'm going to start placing out bunnies. I want that tile. Then I have a gray that I can place, which I'd love to place there, but that's the wrong choice right now because I don't have 4 buildings, so I wouldn't get use of that. But I'll place the gray there to go up 1 on the industry, which gives me 1 more of those roads and 1 more of any tile type that I like, which, there's lots of options. Yeah, I need to make sure I connect stuff. You know what? I don't care. I'm going to take a peach and play on that. Any tile. Take another peach and play on the bunny. No, I can't place bunnies yet. I didn't unlock that yet. Pause. Do I want to not do that? Yeah, let's not do that. I'll place another water, and you'll see why in a minute, but I still have a green and a water to place. The green I'm actually going to place there and take another road. Then I'm going to place 2 waters. Why? Because, well, I can place 1 water there and flip it instantly to get 2 more money income. And I'm going to place another water here to move up any track on the board. And I think I am going to focus on keeping the bunnies going for right now. I do want to get land placement because I'm placing so much of it. Now I get to place out those 2 roads that I was placing before, and I might as well just fill in along the coast, working my way that way. No, I'm going to do 1 there to flip this peach, which I will push up there to move 1 on the food track, and then I'm going to do actually the other one here to flip the gray one and add 1 more ore income. And that's that. That card did a whole lot of good for me. Then, I'm spending another card that I don't need. Yeah, I don't need that. To place on this big food and spend 7 wheat like that to move 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, which gets me another bridge and another tile. And now I will do that peach thing I did before. So place 1 there and 1 there because now I can take this first bunny and I'll place that down here with this cream puff house. I still have 1 road left. Now I'll continue along the coast like that. Also by taking the first bunny, I just unlocked 2 wood income and 2 ore income. So that goes to 6 and that goes to 5. Now what? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards left that I'm happy to spend. 1 that I'm not sure if I want to spend as a thing. So let's see what's going on. I might build. Building would be very smart right now. This card I might spend, except that I need to, I need to be able to tuck that. I have to build. So let me build first, and then I'm going to spend that card. But I don't have 10 bucks. How much is that? That's 18. That's certainly not happening. 10 did not happen. Right now, I can't build anything. I need 3 wood and 3 ore for that. Those 3 wheat could be 1 something. That could be a wood. 4 of those monies could be something. That could be an ore. Then, no, I don't want to spend money. I can always play a card for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would work to play that 10. I need a card to take that action. Means I have 3 extra cards. That's 2, 4, 6. So I need 3 and 3 is 6. Plus, at the very least, 5, 4. I don't think I'm ever going to go up this track, so the milk doesn't really help me any. But 5 and 6 is 11. 2, 4, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm 1 resource short. Except that by playing this, I get another wood and another wheat. Yeah, okay, that works. Spending a card to go there gets me 6 bucks. Then 5 and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is 10, lets me play this card. It just means I won't be able to tuck it, unfortunately. Yeah, that's fine, because I'll get land from other things. All right, so I get 1 wheat. I get 1 wood. I get 1 land. And then because I do have, right now I have 2 strawberries and 2 strawberry shortcakes and 2 of, I don't know what that is. Actually, it looks like maybe tiramisu. I don't know why I said curry. It should be sweets, right? I do get 1 more. So I'm going to get 2 extra lands, and that can't get tucked because I didn't build yet. So I get 2 lands of my choice. And what does that mean? I didn't build yet, so I don't want to trigger gray. Triggering, there's no triggering piece. Let's just work on that. So I'm going to take 2 gray tiles, placing there and there like that. That's done. No. I counted the card that I counted that's not a card anymore. Yeah, that's not great. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That works. All right. So, all right, let's do that. I'm spending all 3 of those cards for resources. Means I get 2 times 3 cards is 6 resources. And I'm going to need 6 ore. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, adding 4. 1, 2 there for wood. Hold on, now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, I need 1 more ore. So I'm going to trade 3 of any resource, means 3 wheat to get 1 more ore. Wait a minute, that was stupid. No, that's not going to work. Hold on, put that back. Get rid of that ore. I am still trading. Wow. I am still trading 2 cards, but the 3rd card was my action. Duh. That's a shame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of those I don't have, because I had 2 and 1. Means that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah. Huh? I had 2 and 1. Oh no, I got 1 extra from the card. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I only get 4, not 6. That's a shame. 1, 2, 3, and 3, that works. but I want a different building. So that's 3. No, that's just 2. I get 2 more to add. It's 5 and 6. I could do 2 and 2. I don't then get to tuck, but yeah, I'm not trying to tuck anymore. Okay. So 2 and 2 and 1. No, that's still not enough. That's still not enough, but that's okay. Unless I build this to be silly, but then there's still only 3 buildings and not 4. So no. I need to focus on, yeah, do I want to build then? Would I rather spend that on doing something else? No, I think that's fine, unless I want more roads. Yeah, let's do that instead. I'm going to take 1 away from each of those and put them with wheat instead. And I'm actually going to use my last action to place out roads. So I got to spend 6. Oh, that's wood, not wheat. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then I don't have any wood for building next time. There's no way for me to get more. Ah, there is. Okay, got it. That's 4. Those go there. I am going to spend those 3 to get 1 of those. And that last card I played is going to be a building action because I'm going to do tricky stuff. I'm going to spend 3 wood and 3 ore to place this second green building. And I'm going to put that over here, which triggers ore or gray track. Gray track I don't really care about except for tuck cards, so I'd rather have more ore to get stuff done. And then doing that gets me a tile. I'm going to take the tile that gets me resources. I'm going to flip that instantly to take 1 of each resource plus 1 of my choice. Means 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and the 1 of my choice then is wood. Right? That's how that worked? Yes. Because then I can spend 3 here and 3 here. Picking that up because it fell down. Ah, do I want to do that or do I want to get city points? No, I still want to do that. And I'll place that one there, getting peach or wheat. And got a lot of wheat coming. So I'm going to push up on this track so I can start scoring both of those. And that gets me 1 move up there. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, lots of them. I have 4 buildings. I've played 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, and I've got a star. So I need to play 1 more card to unlock that building in the next round. Good. Also, I forgot that I did place 1 bunny, so I should have gotten 3 points for that. Like that. We move into the pass phase. Let's see. Passing means we're going to check city points. Unfortunately, this is 3 buildings, but 2 of them are cheese tents, so I don't get any pass points for that. Check industry. I have not passed my first point threshold, so nothing there. Then check tiles and cards and so on. I haven't played any cards. I haven't passed on any tiles, but I do get her 1 something, which is great because that's going to get me my next card. Yay. Then I need to move this round support somewhere. 3 resources is nice. What am I going to score? I've got 4 gray. Yeah, 1 on green. I'd have to place out a lot of green next turn, and I don't think that's going to happen. My lowest income now is a 5. Not bad. 5 and a bridge. I don't love the bridge, but more bridges is good. 6 money and a card, but I've already got lots of cards coming. I think I'm going to do... Yeah, let's do the income and the bridge. Then clean up everything here. Whoops. My 1 card left is that one still. We move into the next round, sliding forward to round 3, flipping over our last 2 new action tiles. And we've got now 9 wheat gets me 2 bunnies instead of 4 for 1. Again, more expensive but requires less actions. And here, 5 ore gets me 3 rather than 3 gets me 2. Good stuff. Then moving into income, I get a bridge from that, which I will place here, flipping that water, getting me 2 more money income. 1, 2. Character doesn't get me anything for income. So to my track, I get 17 money. 10, 15, 16, 17. I get 8 wheat. 5, 6, 7, 8. I get 5 wood. And I get 7 ore. Like that. And we draw 5, 6, 7 cards this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Lots of potential good stuff. Hold on, let me clean up the mess. All right then, let's look at our cards. 19 coins minus chocolate cakes. Spend 3 money income to go up twice on green tracks. Could be nice for build that green tracks score on bridges and buildings, which I will start having lots more of. 12 coin gets me a wood, an ore, a green, and potentially another green with 2 ore income. Oh, what was the income there? Green tracks, okay. Here, this is one of the wilds I mentioned before. Spend a wood income to get 2 wheat and 2 ore. That would be great if I was going for industry. It might still be great later to get bunnies, but we'll see. 9 coins gets 2 ore and an industry. Plus these things, macarons get me money. Here, 2 ore income and 1 wheat. That might be nice to have. 4 flipped gray gets me more income. Another wild, a wheat income gets me wood and ore. That might be huge right now because that'll let me build more. And it can get tucked anywhere. Cool. Let's hold on to that one as a separate special. Green, 2 money gets me 2 wood, incomes, and 2 cakes. For every 2 cakes, I get a wheat. Ooh, you know what? I might like that better. Because I got lots of strawberry shortcakes right now. 2, just 2, that would be 3. 4 if I played that one, though. Potentially, yay. All right, so those 2 might work off each other, but first, those go away. We flip over new cards. The only one going away this time is the 2 card, and otherwise the bridge and the industry track, which I don't care, the bridges is annoying. All right, so what am I doing? I want to build more. I need 1 more card played. I need lots more bunnies, but that means I need lots more food played, which is fine. Now I do have the 4 buildings. Triggering that would not be a bad idea. All right, then I can build here. I would like to connect in here and start building roads to get a second city, but I don't know that it's super important at the moment. I also can't tuck any cards currently because I don't have any diamonds. Although if I build again, I can get them. Lots of them, realistically. 4, 5, 6, and 6. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I want to do that. All right, let's build first then. I need to find a way to get 1 more wood. What do I want to spend to do that? How much am I spending on cards? Either 12 or 13. And I think that I want to do the 13 first. I don't know if I'm going to get to the 12, but we'll see. Means I need 1 more of these. And I don't want to trash a card, probably. Let's see. If those 2 are played, I don't know if they will be, but if those, not that one. If those two get played, that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. One for building, one for food, one for potentially rabbits. Gives me 2 extras. Yeah, maybe so. All right, I'm gonna trash one card to take a wood and a wheat. And then I'm spending a card to build. First spending 3 plus 3. Sorry, no, 4 plus 3 to place this one. Doesn't matter where it goes. I don't want to connect those. So I'll put it there for a wheat or a pink track. Let's go pink track. Push up there, 5 points per bunny. And I get 2 diamonds. And then 2 wood and 3 ore to place out this coffee shop here, getting 2 more money income, which will be a city now. And that triggers this progression. So I get 1 more wheat income and 1 tile of my choice, which is gonna be gray. Because if we put gray there, it triggers this 1 ore, 1 wood, and I do have 4 buildings, so I get 2 more wood income, plus a wood and an ore. All right, then. That's my buildings. I've got diamonds. I can tuck things. Let's start there. No, here. I'm spending 13, 10, 11, 12, 13. Whoops, that's not a go away. Means my wheat goes down 1, but my wood goes up 2 to 9, and my ore goes up 2 to 9. And then I am gonna tuck this in peach. Like that. Spending a diamond. Shining bright like a diamond. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've got definitely 9 tiles. And I've got my star. So that means, yay, I can place out my another building. Unfortunately, it's gotta go there to get me 2 more money, because that's the only space I have aside from that. Yeah, you know what? I don't care. Let's go there anyway. And increase on this track to get another card. That's cool. 14 for wood to coin and cakes to ore. I don't really need that, but that's great. Because now I've got cards. 2 buildings get me 1 point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would get me 3 points this round. And the next round, the next, especially if I build more. Could be worth doing. I still like that, to get more wood and more wheat. But I don't have 12, and that could get 6 with the new card I just got. But let's try other things first. First things first, I'm gonna spend a card to spend 7 wheat to move up 3 times on food. 1, 2, 3. Now I pay 1 less wood for buildings. And then I need more roads for sure, but I'm gonna wait on that. Yeah, I'm gonna spend a card to get some money. $6. Because this card I want to play costs 12. And this one costs 18, but I can't get to 18. 12 I can do. Because all I got to do is say spend an ore to take a money. Then I can play that card for 12 bucks, which lets me lose 2 money income to gain 2 wood. 1, 2. I'm up to 12. That's amazing. And then for every 2 strawberry shortcakes, I get a wheat. So I've got 1, 2, 3 and now 4 on the new card. So that means I get, well, what happened to that? It was at 7, I think. I get, if that wasn't at 7, I'm sorry I cheated, but that's okay. I get 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by 2 is 2 wheat income. 1, 2 goes to 10, like that. And I think I counted wrong on wood. I think I was at 9, so that's 1. 2 is 11, not 10. And again, anything that I just screwed up on that turn, I will check later. But that is going to get tucked. It may be a waste of a diamond, but I'm doing it anyway. Yeah? Hold on. Am I? Now, 2 more rounds. Do I need another wheat income several times? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. I might save that diamond, actually. No, let's do it. I can get more from buildings if I need to. Okay, then. That's the end of the round. No, it's not. I still have 2 cards left. What am I doing? I am placing some bunnies. I got 4. Yeah, all right, let's just do that. Spending 1 card with 4 of those to place out 1 more rabbit anywhere, which instantly gets me, where'd that card go? That's a token. 3 points. 1, 2, 3, like that. So now I can't remember when I got this tile, but we'll assume I didn't use it this round. I have 1 card left, and I am going to spend it just to take another diamond, like that. Done. Pass phase, check for city points. I have 1 big city, but there are 3 different buildings there, so I will get 1 city point. And then, no industry points because I haven't crossed the threshold. Check pass abilities on tiles and cards. I don't have any tiles that pass, but I do have this one that's scoring 1 point for the least income of the 3 resources. So this one is 10, this one is 11, and this one is 9. So that gets me 9 points. That's awesome. 6 and 9 is 15. Then I get passing from her 2 things. So first I get to place out 1 tile. And it's got to be gray because by placing this gray, I have now connected that port, and she scores 2 points per connected port. This one and this one are both connected, so that's 4 additional points. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then I get to move this. Tiles, I still only have 1 green, so that's really only worth 1 point. I'm not doing that now. So I'm gonna, yuck. Wheat and an industry doesn't help me. So let's just take the coins in the card for now. That moves there. That's the end of the round. Moving into round 4. But first cleaning up. Those come off. This flips back over to get used again. Like that. What else we got to do? Discard the 1 card. My 1 card is there. That's it. Round 4. Income. From the support, I get 6 coins to start there. And I get a card. 1. I'll keep that separate for right now. Then, nothing from my character moving into regular income. That is 17. Again, if I screwed that up, I'm sorry. But it's tough working in this tight confines on camera. Next, I get 10 wheat. I get 11 wood. I get 9. Whoops. 5. Let's do this. I was going to get lots of 1s, but let's do that. 9. Or, this is probably the most resource heavy I've been in any play of this game yet, so I'm excited. All right, then that's that for my income. These go away again. Flipping over for round 4. I'm going to place in the action tile, the money. and 4 for food, and bridges, 6 for bridges. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. I do want more tiles, but food makes that easy, but we'll see. Yeah, all right, we're gonna have some fun this turn, but let's take our cards. I get 1, 2, and 5 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's take a look at all the cards we've got. 9 coins means spend a diamond to get 2 land. And then for 2 pairs of these, I get 2 land. That's 3 lands. Not bad, but I don't want to spend a diamond. 1 wheat for every 2 income I have. That gets me 5 additional wheat. That's big. Hold on to that. 18 coins, 1 point for 2 cities and 1 point for those dumpling things. That's not going to help me. 10 coins, 2 buildings gets me wood. I've already got lots of wood. Another pass, 18 minus chocolate cakes, which I don't have any of. Scores for played pink cards, which peach cards, 1, 2, 3. I get 3 points for that. And dumplings, which I only have the 1. Not great. 18 gets me spend 5 resources to get 2 bridges and a building. And then cake gets me a land. That's pretty amazing. 5 resources. Huh. Maybe. 14 gets me 4 wheat for a building, but I want to use my wheat for other things, so not that. And then this is just wood for buildings. Yeah, no. Okay. These two, 27. I've got 23. I'd need 4 coins, and I can't get more coins. But I could trade resources. 2 bridges and a building is great. Yeah. Extra wheat is going to be nice, but let's do 2 bridges and a building first. I could even tuck it to get more bridges and more, no, not worth it. All right, I'm going to spend 18. 10, 15, 16, 17, 18 to play that card. 2 bridges and a building. 2 bridges clearly go here and here to flip this gray and flip this peach. I might as well get some points for tucked cards. And peach, I don't know. I want to push them both up. Let's go this way, because if I can get another one, I get 3 more resources, which would be awesome to have, because I get to build a building now for free. So let's put out this cheese tent, which gets me 2 more bridges, which is also awesome. But where do I put them? I think I want to go up on gray some more. Yeah, but peach is really what I need. All right, so we're going to push up and up, flipping this peach to push here and get 3 more resources. Now let's see what I want. 9 gives me 1 left over. Means I need 5 more wheat. So yeah, let's take a wheat. 2, 3 wheats. And then I'm playing again, placing on, yeah, all right, placing on peach again, spending a diamond to push into the last space, which gets me 6 points, goes to 25. Yes. And then I do have a cake, lots of them, but it only says 1, there's no infinite sign. So 1 cake, I get 1 something tile. I need to connect that port and that port. So I'm going to do a peach for now. I'm going to have to do it again anyway, so it's not going to matter, but that peach goes there. Like that. Yes. Then, I want to play that for 11, but we got to hold off for a minute. I'm going to play a card to play here. 9 wheat gets me 2 more bunny rabbits. Doesn't matter where they get placed as long as they get placed. There's 1 there and 1 there. I hope you can see that on camera. Yeah, it should be. Okay. Then I placed 2 bunnies. And my tile is for every bunny I place, I get 3. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 points to 31. Plus, that second bunny triggers my peach Tucked cards means a land, one more wheat income, and then a wood and an ore. Wood and an ore. Cool. But do I want more food or buildings? I think buildings. But I can only build in 2 places unless I have a road somehow. Yeah, roads are a problem right now. I don't see anywhere to get a road, but that's okay. Then, I'm definitely building. I'd love to build 3. Oh, I can build here. Yeah, okay. Okay. Then I'm spending another card to build 3 buildings with an additional wood cost, except that I have the -1 wood cost here. So I can build 3 buildings at normal cost. So trading in a 10 for 2 5s and spending 1 more is 6 wood and 3 ore. Gets me my final tent, which gets me an additional 2 points per bunny at the end. And I'll place that on Peach, driving this one up further. I need to start pushing green up is a big problem right now. Then, 2 more buildings. Triggering more coffee might be not a bad idea. That cost me 2 wood and 3 ore to play the coffee shop somewhere, here in gray, pushing that up again. Then, that triggers this, so I get 1 more wood and 1 more ore. And I do have 4 buildings, so I get 2 more income in wood. And then my third building could be this building. I don't need to build milks, but more diamonds would be worth having. Let's go cheap. 2 wood means 3 back, and 3 ore lets me place out a brownie building. Only place I can place is there, increasing income, money income by 2, like that. And that gets me 2 diamonds, which I definitely want if I want to push up on some more tracks. Or I can do that, actually. I need to start driving up green. Is there any way I can get another one of these? Not easily. Not easily. These cards are not anything I need right now. All right, then, I need to put out some lands. Problem is, I need to start putting out lands where I can connect roads. But roads are not a problem. Hold on a minute. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Then I can't spend my last card. But this gets me 1 per 2. Which is 11 gets me 5 out of a single card, but I need to get money, and there's no easy way to get money. Except that's 3 money. Yeah, no. I'm just going to spend that, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. All right, let's do that. This might be the biggest waste of cards ever, but I need to get it done. I need to get it done. Oh, but that's 9. Hold on a minute. I'm spending 2 to get 2. I'm spending another one to place out tiles. 3 and 6 gets me 3 tiles. I want to connect some ports. 1 goes there, which is triggering that. I'll do that in a minute. 1 goes there, connects this port, and then I'm going to put the last one there. Like that. And then I did trigger green, which gets me 4 coins and a wheat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wheat. That's 9. Yeah. If I spend 2 ore to make 2 money, that's 11 money. I spend 11 money to play this card, which says for every 2 wheat income, I get 1 wheat. It's 11, so I get 5 more wheat. That's 6 wheat. 6 wheat. It is 6 wheat, and I still have 2 cards to play. I need more food. Yeah. I'm spending a card to get 2 more wheat. And then I'm spending a card to play here, spending 7 wheat, moving my food 1, 2, 3 times. Now I get a 2 wood discount on shopping, and I place out 2 more tiles. And I want to place those 2 more tiles out nearby so that I can start flipping greens and driving up green tracks. This peach is already looking pretty good. Although I got a lot of land out. Anyway, let's do that. So 1, 2 goes there. Good. And that's the turn. I'm keeping this card. It's a waste because it's not scoring anything, but that is the end. We do pass. City points is still just 1. Then industry points, nothing. Pass abilities, nothing there, nothing here. I got extra resources. Well, let me use that now to get the 4 extra resources because I'm going to use them next turn. I'll do 2 wheat, a wood, and a ore, but I do get, not that, my pass from my character. So I place out 1 more tile, and I don't know what color to place, peach or green. I need 2 more peach, but I need a ton of green. So let's put out a green, because that way I can drive up a road between them and get lots of stuff there. And then I score 2 points for every port that's connected. Well, that's 2, 4, 6, 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 39. We clear off this here like that. I do get to move this again, which unfortunately means I can't go back to score that, but I am getting lots of these. So I'm going to actually go there and get resources and connections. Moving into the 5th and final round. My round support, again, that's for passing later. I get 3 resources of my choice. And this is where I need to be careful. I'm going to do 2 wheat and 1 wood, and if that is a mistake, we'll find out later. My actual income is 19 money. I get 11 wheat. And I get 13 wood. Wow, this is great. And 9, which I'll turn into a 10. Or, that's that. I draw my cards as 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's see what we got. 6 coins for 3 wheat and 2 income. 16 coins for wheat and a food. I don't know that that's worth it, but it could be. 6 tiles gets more wheat and food. I don't need that for sure, but more wheat gets me more wheat anyway. Wood and income. This is last round. Income means nothing. Yeah, income and a bridge. I don't need it. This is awesome. 3 wheat and a wheat income gets me 2 peaches. I want that for sure, which means this bonus, likely I don't care. Every 2 building gets me 1 point. That's 5 points for 18 coins. I don't think so. 3 resources gets me a water and a building. Water doesn't mean anything to me, but it could. No, that's income. But the building for 3 resources could be big. Ooh, that one's even better. 1 wood and 2 money income gets me 2 green track. I need that. All right, so that's my cards. That's the money. Let's clear off the AI and see what they're doing for the last round. Flipping these cards. He gets card and space. That's a shame because extra card would be nice, but extra diamonds could be good too. Then land, which I don't super care about right now, and 2 food, which kind of I do care about, because I need 1 more food to place out my last bunny, but I don't know that I don't think I'm gonna place 5 bunnies anyway, but let's see what happens. 16 and 15 means 31, and I've only got 19. But the 6 is open. That's 25. And if I trigger a green, that's even more, 29. I could potentially get there. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see which happens. Which one am I playing first? I'm going to spend 16 to play this green one, which means I spend 1 wood income, which I don't care about anymore, and 1 ore income to go up twice on green. Am I scoring more buildings or more roads? I got to go up 5 times to get buildings. Roads are much faster, so let's go there. And I am going to tuck that one. Am I? Because I'm scoring 2 points per tucked card. Yes, I am. Because that also lets me go up on green 1 more time, potentially. Okay. Then, this should have unflipped at the end of the round. I have more resources available to me. I want to build some things, but I can't because I need roads first. So I'm going to spend that to get roads for 6. So I got to trade in a 10 for a 5 plus 1. 6, 11 getting a 5 change gets me 3 bridges. And that gets me 1, 2, and 3 like that. It means all 3 of these greens flip. 1, 2, and 3 all flip over. Which gets me, gets me 3 up on the green tracks. Yeah, screw it. 1, 2, no, I don't want to cross there yet. 3. Because if I only have 1 gem, I'd rather have scoring for tiles. Good. Now I have place to build. So now I'm going to spend another card and go building 3 buildings. As I got lots of wood to spend. Extra diamonds would be good. So let's start with 4 wood and 3 ore. So 5, I get 7 back. To build another one of those in a green, driving that up, getting a wood income, which I don't care about. And I get 2 more diamonds. All right, here's where things get fun. Building this one, I spent 1 extra wood because, no, I need the extra wood. So extra wood is gone. 5 wood, 3, no, because I have the double one now. So I get 1 more wood back for there and 1 more wood back for the original one. And that makes me this, placing there to increase a green. And I will do that for a diamond to get a road this time. And I want to push up here because maybe I can get a pink flipped. In fact, I'm going to do it anyway. But triggering that green for doing that gets me a wheat income and 1 more green track, which pushes up there. Now, this is where things get interesting. I can spend 3 of any resource. I need 3 wood for that. Minus 1 is 2. I'm spending 3 wood. Do I need wood for anything? I might. I'm spending 3 ore to get 2 back. Free action at any time, plus a card. Gets me an extra bridge. Like that, because now I flip a peach. Which pushes that up 1 more. And that's going to be important because this is going to do 2 more, and then I'll hit there. Then building my last building, going cheap, spending 2 wood, because it should be 3 plus 1 minus 2 is 2, and 3 ore. That was a mistake. Yeah, let's say I spent 1 of the woods instead of the ore as part of my 3 resources. So then 3 ore to place out this, which gets me a free action. And I'm going to place that on green again, going up here, getting 1 city point. Good. That's my building done. I now have a free action that I don't need to spend cards on, which is amazing. because, well, one card goes here to place there and get $6 or 6 coins. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 15 to play there, so I need 5 coins more. But I'm out of actions. Hold on. I'm playing that to go here to place 2 more rabbits for 9. So spending one of those, I get 1 back. And 2 more rabbits go out. Doesn't matter really where. 1 and 2 like that. Then I get more resources that way. Oh, wait a minute. That's perfect. Because, and I just added 2 more rabbits. So I get 6 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 45. And then I flip this to get 4 more resources, but I'm instantly changing those 4 resources into money. So I'll trade a 1 for a 5. I'm at 13. Spend 2 more is 14, 15. I'll spend that 15. I should go up 1 on this track anyway for that, but that's fine. This might be a waste then, but it's fine. I'm playing that card. Ooh, and tucking that card. Yeah, all right, I'm playing that card for spending 3 wheat and 1 wheat income to get 2 up here, spending 1 diamond to get another placement, which means I will place green. I can place green there, triggering 4 coins. Hold on, first I spent that 15 to play that card, getting 4 coins and 1 more green track. And tucking that card for the crystal that I just did. Not that that's not going to matter because I'm not going to trigger that track again. But I had to spend a diamond to go there, and now I'm spending a diamond to tuck that. So we're done, but that gets me extra points from here. So I have 1 card left, 4 wheat, 4 money, and a wood. I'm going to spend my last card to play there, playing 4 wheat, getting me 1 more bunny rabbit out in my kingdom. And that is the end of that round, scoring 3 points for that bunny. 1, 2, 3 is 48. Pass phase, checking city points, still just 1. I think I may have missed that once, but we'll see what happens. If I did, I will leave a subtitle. No industry, still I didn't focus on that at all. Pass abilities, I do score 1 point for my smallest area. Gray is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Green is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Water is definitely smallest. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Then, pass abilities on my board. I get to place 1 more tile, which is gonna be this green that gets me 2 more city points. And then I score based 2 points per port, 2, 4, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gets me to 60. And that is that. There's no reason to move the round support token because that's the end of the game. There's no reason to clear anything. I have no cards left. Everything here are cards that I've played. So now we go into final scoring. All right, so going to final scoring first, we're going to look at all of these tracks. First things first, looking at the top track, I get 1 point per land tile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So we're at 60, 28 is 70, 88, like that. Next, I'm getting 7 points per bunny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 7 is 49. 49 points here. So we're at 88. Means 98 108, 118, 128 plus 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 is 137. Next, 1 point per bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Let me check that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. 17 points goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 44, and 10 is 54. Then we get 1 point per building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points for buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 58, 68. Then moving down again, 2 points per tucked card. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 is 70 and 80. Again, nothing for industry, but that's fine because I didn't have any industry. Then victory points from city, that's 6. You get 2 points per city point, so that's 12. 1, 2 is 82, 92. Then I'm going to get an additional 2 points per bunny because I built all of these buildings. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2 is 14. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 96, and 10 is 106. VP from gold, you get 1 point for 5 gold. I don't have 5 gold. You get 1 point per diamond. I don't have any diamonds. That means I finish with a total score of 206. Unfortunately, in the solo mode, according to the rules as written, you need 250 points to win standard, or over 300 points to basically have completed or, owned the game, basically. So unfortunately, I didn't win the game, but that's par for the course. I've never won the game. The last game I played was my highest score was 240 points. So 206 is not bad, but I still can't crack that 250 threshold. I'll talk more about that later in my final thoughts. While we're here looking at the components, you've basically seen everything there is to see. I'm not going to talk about quality because this is a prototype of the game, but everything I see here is great. I love the artwork here. It's super cute. The characters look great. All of the tiles, the way that the world looks great. Stop. There's one more thing I forgot to score, and that is ports. Ports, there are 4. I've connected all 4 of them, means I score an additional 10 points. I still don't win, but that's now 216 instead of 206. Still a far cry from 250. All right, so then, again, looking at the components, I can't really comment on the components because this is a prototype copy, but all of the tile thickness is great. The cards themselves already feel great. The artwork in this game is wonderful. I love this character design. I love the way the world works. All of the iconography, there's a lot of iconography in this game, but it all makes sense and it all is fairly easy to understand as far as everything goes. Once you've played once or twice, everything makes sense and it does look very nice on the board. As far as the wooden pieces, I have to always talk about this, but I mean, it's Uchibacoya. That's what we expect from Uchibacoya, is wonderful wooden components, and they certainly don't disappoint here. You saw them once in setup, but let me show them to you one more time right now because I think they've outdone themselves this time. Everything looks really, 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 really awesome. These wooden bits are great. It really does look super cute as you're playing on the table. I did see also there will be a deluxe version of this game coming to Kickstarter, and rather than having these circle tokens, they're actually going to make meeples of all of the different characters, which has me super excited as well because it looks great. As far as the resources go, this is kind of blah, but it really does work very well, the way the income track works and how you can sort of swap resources into money or multiple resources into different resources. So it all does work. I just want to point out one more time here while I'm here, I do really love the way that these boards open up and the different characters can go in. Very, very cute art here. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of the different characters. You can see them later in the campaign. You can see them later when you see the prototype rulebook. I'm not going to take the time to explain all of the different characters, but I will talk more about the differentiation between characters in my final thoughts. So that's basically all I have to say about the components. I'll be back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. First things first, just a quick sorry. My nose is a little bit stuffy from these horrible fall allergies, so if my voice is a little bit funny, that's that. But getting into this game, wow, this game is huge and heavy and chunky and all of the things that you might associate with a giant Euro game. I have to start with that because that really is the sort of nature, the identity of this game. I want to talk a little bit about that and a little bit about the theme moving into this. The theme of this is sort of this king from this sweet lands is going away, and you're sort of building up your own land to sort of take over and be the successor to the king of sweet lands, sort of building out this land of sweets. And looking at the theme, it's super cute. Visually, it looks the way that it should look. I love the way that it looks. I showed you the components already, and component-wise, the theme is really there. But I just want to put this out here right at the start. This is a big, heavy, crunchy Euro, and as such, I have to say there's really not a theme here aside from the visuals in this game. I don't really feel like I'm building out the sweet lands, except that, of course, I am placing out lands on the map, and I am placing out buildings on those lands. But realistically, it feels like get resources to use those resources to do things to score points in a variety of different ways. And this is a big, heavy Euro with driving sort of point salad, get points to score points, to get stuff to score more points, to ultimately have the most points at the end of the game. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's beyond the point right this second. I just wanted to put this out here that if you're looking for a very sort of thematically integrated Euro, this isn't going to be that game. But that said, it still looks great. And more importantly, I really, really, really enjoy what's going on in this game. Now, again, right up front, this is huge, this is big, this is heavy. You need to like a big, heavy, crunchy Euro to enjoy this game. This is definitely not for a gateway gamer, and maybe or maybe not even for a medium kind of gamer, because there is a lot going on here, and there will be a lot to deal with to get into this game. So if you are easily scared away by big, heavy, chunky Euros, this is not going to be for you. But all of that aside, I'm really enjoying this game, and there's a whole lot going on here. So if you are the kind of person who likes a bigger, heavier, crunchier kind of game, or you're the kind of person who's willing to put in the extra time to learn to like those kinds of games, or to learn the systems in this game enough to get past the sort of mental load to get into how the game actually plays and what kind of a game this is, I'm really, really enjoying this, and I think this is worth all of that stuff. So let's get into what it is about this game that I'm enjoying as much as I am. So I mentioned in the intro that this is kind of worker placement-ish, and the reason I say that is because in this game you are placing workers to select different actions in order to get things done on your board, or to get cards done doing certain things, or to place out buildings, or to place out tiles, or all of these other things, which I will definitely get into in just a minute. But ultimately, you're placing out workers onto the board to activate spots, and you are blocking spots from other people taking those spots by placing your workers there. So it is worker placement by definition because of that, except that in this game, you don't have any workers. So you're not really placing workers because you don't have workers. You're really selecting actions, but then also blocking those spots from other people taking actions, and you are sort of limited to the number of actions that you're allowed to take. So it's kind of an action selection mixed with worker placement, but I really enjoy what it's doing because I love worker placement games. I love this idea of I need to get things done when I need to get them done before somebody else takes the thing that I need to get done. And I have a limited number of sort of things that I can activate using my workers. Only in this case, it's even more interesting because, and I'll get more into this moving forward in this thoughts section, but everything is driven by cards. There are these multi-use cards in this game, and one of the uses for the cards is spending a card to place a worker onto one of these action locations. And it's really interesting because if I spend a card to take an action, I then don't have the card to do the other things that I can do with the card, mainly playing the card for some kind of instant activation, which then could potentially also become an ongoing thing that's triggered by an activation later on. Or if it's a pass card, playing a card to get sort of recurring scoring at the end of every round. So I'm giving all of that up in order to use that card to place out on the board. Or I can also always use a card to get 2 of any resource. So by taking an action with a card, I'm also giving up the ability to get more free resources to use for other stuff to pay for things that I'm doing action-wise on my board. So this idea that it's not just I have a worker to place to do something, it's I may or may not even have a worker to place because I may or may not want to use the card that counts as the worker to do something else that might do something better than just using that card to take one of these placement actions. And then I mentioned that it does block off spaces like a worker placement game. Some of the spaces are single place spaces, in which case it is completely blocked off. But some of the locations have 2 or 3 places that I can place out, in which case I can still place on those places, except now I need to spend 2 cards or 3 cards, depending if it's the second or third place, to place my worker on that spot. And now I'm giving up even more cards that I could use for resources, that I could use for instant activation, that could potentially become a recurring activation, or that could potentially be a scoring condition at the end of every round, building up those points as I move forward. So now it's getting more and more expensive, but I still have the ability to take the action if I really need to do that to sort of make my engine do whatever it is that I want it to do in order to score those points before the end of the game. So this core worker placement action selection mechanism really makes for some crunchy decisions, but they're really fun decisions and really cool sort of risk-reward balancing kind of decisions that I really do enjoy in this game. But then talking about those cards, now we've got these instant activations, which are really cool because some of these instant activations are going to give you some really big stuff or really twist the rules in different and unique enough ways that makes you think about, okay, playing this card as a card makes sense. Or, as I mentioned, those pass cards that are going to give you different scoring conditions that you're scoring at the end of each round, which is cool for more than one reason. One, because it gives you points, which is great because you want points, but also because, as I mentioned, this is a giant Euro with many different ways to score points. As you start playing out some of these cards that give you scoring conditions, it sort of focuses your path on these things, and now you sort of know what you're doing and what you're focused on strategically to try and build the best sort of efficiency engine that you can while you're playing. And then if you play the cards that are instant activation, you have the ability to spend a diamond to tuck that card under your board, assuming that you have space. You always have a space for 1 card in each of the 3 locations, but to place more, you're going to have to build buildings to make more space for those cards. But now tucking, anytime I trigger that activation action of the color matching that column, I will then again trigger whatever's printed at the bottom of those cards. And adding another wrinkle to that, each of the cards has a different sort of dessert printed on them, and those different desserts in combination with other cards will make those values or these sort of abilities or actions of those cards become even stronger because you've collected so many of a specific type of dessert. Really cool how these multi-use cards play into each other. But then beyond that, this game gives you like every possible option to score points. There's the tile laying aspect of placing out the lands on the board and then using the roads to flip over those tiles to activate things. There's the aspect of building buildings, which is again going to activate those things on the landscape tiles that you've already flipped over. But also you can score city points by making clusters of 3 or more different types of buildings. Also, when you place the buildings, you're going to get other stuff for placing out those buildings that might be activating those columns of tucked cards, that might be getting more of those diamonds that you need, that might be getting a whole variety of things, increasing income and so on. I haven't even talked about the income. I'll get to that in a minute. But we've got this landscape tile thing with roads going through it, which is also super important because at the end of the game, if you don't connect to those ports on the map, you're losing a bunch of points. So you gotta sort of get as much of that as you can, even if that's not your focus. Then you've got this ability or this idea that you've got a character, which I'll come back to in a little bit, that has a secondary ability that you need to unlock by placing out certain tiles, by placing out certain cards, by placing out certain buildings to unlock that ability. So that gives you sort of a focus in that direction. But then you also have this sort of pink, green, gray, or peach, green, gray track kind of focus, where the peach stuff is kind of land focused, placing out lands, placing out buildings, and then ultimately placing out the bunnies, the cookie rabbits out on those buildings to double or triple or however much add more points by placing out those rabbits. The green track is sort of focused on money because that's sort of the way that it goes, but green is then focused also on the city stuff in particular, because if you get all of your green buildings out, you're scoring extra points for those city points at the end of the game. So now you're focused on putting tiles so that you can flood them with lots of buildings, scoring on those tiles and buildings or roads and buildings going forward. And gray is focused on a completely separate aspect of the game, which is the industry track, where you've got this carriage that's moving up, triggering certain abilities along the way. And if you get your industry going enough, then you unlock a train that triggers different things on that same track. And if you can get them both all the way around, you're generating every round a bunch of industry points that you can then score extra if you've really focused on that gray track. But there's so much going on. And then add to that the income stuff. The income stuff is incredibly interesting as well, because every round I'm not just getting a certain amount of resources. Most of the resources I'm getting and spending in this game, aside from the ones I'm getting from trashing cards or from converting between resources or money and resources, most of the resources I'm getting comes from income. And most of the time early in the game, I'm starting with little to no income at all. So early game, I really need to focus on driving up the income so that by later game turns, I'm getting a ton of resources that I then have the ability to spend to place tiles, to place roads, to place buildings, to do all of these bigger things that I got moving forward. And that's a very interesting balance between sort of when do I focus on getting stuff now and when do I focus on getting stuff better for later. And that better for later is a huge piece of this game. But all of these things sort of interact in different ways while also requiring you to focus, because if you do everything, you're never going to do amazingly well in this game. And then even more, I keep saying even more, and that's the kind of game this is, the scoring, the end game scoring. Yes, I'm going to score based on diamonds or money that I have left over, but that's not that important. Mostly I'm focused on scoring the city points that I've been getting along the way, the industry points that I've been getting along the way, and then all of those in-game points I've been getting through all of the past bonuses that I was talking about before on cards, but then also on tiles that you can get through various actions in the game. But most importantly is the really interesting scoring system that comes from the tracks. 2 peach tracks, 2 green tracks, and 2 gray tracks that as I flip tiles on the landscapes, as I place buildings on those flipped landscape tiles, and as I take some actions like the one on the board where I spend 2 diamonds to push up on those tracks, I'm moving up those tracks. And for the most part, moving up those tracks doesn't do a whole lot for me in-game. It does on a couple of the tracks. The second track in each color gives me a couple of little things along the way. But ultimately, what that determines is how much I'm scoring for each thing in the game. How many points do I get for rabbits? How many points do I get for roads? How many points do I get for tiles? How many points do I get for buildings? How many points do I get for tucked cards? How many points do I get for the industry points at the end of the game? Because if you don't push up these tracks at the end of the game, you score nothing for any of those things. You need to push those tracks up to add points to each of those things or add value to each of those things. And that's what makes this really cool. Because if I'm focused on placing tiles and placing roads and placing buildings, then I want to drive those tracks all the way up. If I'm focused on placing those cookie rabbits, then I want to drive that track all the way up. Except that it doesn't always work that way. Maybe I'm doing lots of gray things, but the way I've built out my board, those gray things are triggering peach tracks, and now the industry stuff that I've got hasn't been driving up the industry tracks. So I need to figure out not just one thing, but 2 or 3 things that work together really well to sort of balance up. This makes this go up and this makes this go up. So now if I do those 3 things and keep that circle going, then I've got this efficient engine playing that's eventually going to score me lots of points on the things that I've actually accomplished in game. And that's huge if you can make it happen. but there's so many little switches and so many little dials and so many little different things that you have to focus on in order to sort of limit your scope on the things that you want to do in any given game. And if you don't manage to do that, you're not going to score a lot of points because you're going to be scoring for everything, but the value of everything is going to be super low. And that's the balance that makes this game so much fun. And in this box, there's a ton of different characters, and each of those characters has very unique abilities. The way that they interact with things, I had one character that made every action space count one card, so I could take the same action multiple times very easily. I had a character that didn't really have any powers, but started with a ton of starting income, so you had lots of resources right from the start. There's so many different variable sort of powers for each of these characters, or abilities for each of these characters, that every time I've sat down to play this game, it's felt very different because there are so many different ways to score. And the character's abilities and the cards that you get dealt to you really push you to try different things in the game and to score different ways in the game. And it really makes it feel fun that every time I'm diving in, it's definitely not the same game. I'm doing something different in a different way, connected to different things, sort of intertwined with other things in different ways. And it feels so fresh and so new every time I play, even with the same characters, because of the different cards and how unique each of these cards are and how sort of game twisting each of the rule changes on each of these cards are. Not rule changes, but sort of actions that I can't do if I didn't have those cards. Because of how unique those are, every game I've played of this feels so much different. So different from the previous games, and I love just how much of a sandbox this game really does feel. How much this game really does say, hey, do whatever you want. It may or may not work, but try your best to figure something out, focus on that, and see what you can do with it. It's really, really, really fun to push all of these different things and just see what happens. And I'm really enjoying my experience with it. Now, let's talk about the solo mode. The solo mode really doesn't do much against, or doesn't really play against you. There's not really an AI here. It's basically a set of cards that tells you to block off certain action spaces, which actually does work pretty well, though, because it does make you think about how can I get the best stuff done that I can get done with spaces blocked off on the board. I wanted to do this, well, now that's expensive. Do I still do it for more stuff, or do I pivot and switch to something else and hopefully come back to that thing later when it's less expensive? It also means at the end of the round, when you switch to the next sort of bonus for the future round, it blocks off the one you had before. So you can't keep going back to the same sort of two areas or two round bonus areas to get the same stuff or to score the same points every other turn. It sort of staggers you. So you can only go to the same place once every other turn, or every third turn, I guess. So it does gum up the works a little bit, but you really are playing your own efficiency puzzle, and that doesn't bother me. I've had a ton of fun. I've only played this solo so far. I've played this game 6 or 7 times now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Now, if anything, this is hard. This is heavy. This may be one of the heaviest games I've ever played, and I don't care because I love it and I enjoy that heaviness and that crunch and the ability to try different things and fail and succeed and fail and succeed and just keep trying. But this game is hard. The solo mode suggests that 250 points is a win, and aiming for 300 is like, I have accomplished something at defeating this game, kind of a score threshold. My highest score was on a game that I found out now the character is somewhat broken. That's the one that has lots of starting resource or lots of starting income with not real special power. Apparently that character is super strong after talking to the publisher. And with that character, after a game that felt like I did everything I could possibly do, I scored 240 points. Still 10 points below the scoring threshold I need for a win in solo. I've talked to the publisher and they swear that it's possible to get 250 and that after many, many plays of this game, I will get to the level where I'm doing that more regularly, but this game is hard. You just saw me on a playthrough. Sorry, I'm filming this after the playthrough while I'm still editing the playthrough, so I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 217, I think. I may have gotten that, but we'll see. About 217, which is still way better than what I was getting when I first started playing this game. So there definitely is something to Playing this game repeatedly definitely makes you better at this game. You start to see the interconnectedness between all of the different actions, between the different sort of paths to scoring and how things play off of different things. And if you start playing with the same character multiple times, you'll probably start to see better how to most efficiently use your character's abilities to focus on the right things that match that character. But that's going to take a lot of gameplay. That's going to take a lot of focus. I'm not always the kind of player that gets into a game and plays forever and ever and ever and ever, but this is the kind of game that would push me to do that because there is so much going on and it really is fun to see how things connect, to see how things play out. And yes, it keeps beating me, and yes, I'm struggling, and yes, it feels somewhat bad every time I say, I think I did it this time, and then I'm 20 points or 30 points or 40 points shorter than that 250. It still feels really good. And this is one of the few games that getting beaten down by the game makes me want to try again, makes me want to do something slightly differently to see if it works better the next time. Now, does it come out from the randomness in the cards? Maybe. But for the most part, there's not a whole lot of randomness happening here aside from those cards and aside from what the AI is sort of blocking every round. It really does come down to your strategic planning and then ultimately to your tactical decision making based on those cards that come out. But boy, am I enjoying this. And boy, does that challenge drive me rather than crush me. And I'm very happy with this. Would I play it solo and buy it only solo? I don't know. I really do enjoy it only solo. I will continue to play it even if it's only solo. But it is a big, heavy, expensive game. And it may or may not be worth it just for solo. But I, again, am having a blast with it. And if you are going to play multiplayer and solo and you're a fan of big, crunchy, heavy Euros, I would absolutely take a look at this game because, again, this thing is doing some really cool twists on things that I've seen before in very new ways, tied together in very new ways, and it really is a player-driven experience as far as what you do and how you score those points. I'm enjoying it. I want to play more. I want to try out the characters I haven't tried yet. I can't wait to get back into this game. I'd love to show it off to some friends to play multiplayer eventually. Yeah, big thumbs up for me, aside from maybe the difficulty hurts a little bit. That's basically all I have to say about this game. I hope that this video was helpful. As always, I do ask that you like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below. If this does look like something you were interested in, the link to the Kickstarter campaign is down below as well. Thank you all again, and I'll see you soon.